I think everybody had a problem. So
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
you're okay.
so let's start this over. Welcome, everybody. This is our July 4th podcast, first podcast that we've ever done. We're doing holiday season, being as it is the 4th of July. We're also going to be doing outdoorsy stuff like hiking, fishing, hunting, all that good stuff. We're going to be doing this once a week with me, your host, Sergeant Sweets, our co host, Ty. Our guest today is Mackinac and Harley Quinn. So we'll be telling stories, we'll be interjecting with each other, having some, civil conversations about, stuff that we've done over the years. Today's topic's obviously holiday. So welcome in, everybody. Hope you all are having a great 4th of July today.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
fantastic.
I just need some more sleep.
Nap time was good.
Very good.
Jelly,
Very
jelly.
good day. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to talk with everybody in the chat, which is fine. It is a podcast. It will be posted on YouTube as well, and we will also have an audio to where you can download and listen to when you drive and stuff like that, or if you're out and about. So that's another benefit of this podcast. And so if you say something in chat and I don't respond, don't take it personally. But we will try to implement some of you guys' questions and stuff like that on the AMA parts and stuff like that. So, without further ado, story time. Today's topic it was holiday, 4th of July. Did you guys have a funny story or favorite memory of your first or one of your holidays of 4th of July?
Yeah, I could share mine. It's good. It's not more or less my story, but a conglomerative of a story.
Okay.
Um, all the good stories happen when you're involved with friends that are above age, legal drinking age, of course. And one of the Fourth of July's, we had a tradition with our group of soldiers that we would go at the base because they have a fireworks show right there on the shoreline. Um, but we always had a problem with getting a good spot to sit. So one year we convinced the only single guy that we have in our group to go camp out at the lake. Ooh, that went weird. Go camp out at the lake and secure us our premium spots. We called him Rabbit. You'll know why in a little bit. So camping overnight. He didn't want to be out there by himself. Nobody else wanted to camp with him, so he invited a girl to come out with him. So you know what that means. Camping out by the lake, a little drinking. People start getting he starts getting a little handsy, whatever it is, and anyways, at the end of the night, it's getting dark out. They start making their animal noises, and at some point the base MPs roll by, and they see this tent just violently shaking on the shoreline area, and so he shines his car's spotlight at him. This is his story, by the way. It's great. It probably was better when he said it, but he shined the spotlight on the tent, which then projected their shadow through their tent onto the pavilion next to their tent, which gave everybody else on the shoreline a wonderful view of what was going on in that tent. And dude says like he said when he realized what had happened, the spotlight was on him. He looked back, he saw what was going on. Like just like a meerkat, head pops out of the tent, and he goes, "Hey, shut that off!" And he said you could hear the MPs laughing, right? So that was a good joke. But just the best part about that was that as he's telling us this the next day, when all of the people are there, the girl that he was with, she is beat red, and you could see how mad she is that he's telling the story. He finishes, we all start laughing. She goes, "You think that's funny, huh?" Opens her wine, the whole bottle, dumps it on his head, grabs his keys, and hauls butt out of there. Oh my god, that was so priceless. It was great. I like that was the highlight of that day. Like the fireworks were had nothing on that. Like you had to have been there for that. It was so good. That poor girl. We never saw her again.
You said it was on post.
Yeah, I was up post.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It kind
those
of
all do
kind of
base
reminds me of
MPs.
a story with the command sergeant major where we're out in the field and everything like that, and I'm joking around, I'm cursing up, I'm smoking a cigarette. It's late at night. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and we're all supposed to be racked out for our 5 a.m. movement time in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just joking around, fucking around, and everything like that. We're out in the middle of nowhere, basically in the woods of Fort Hood, and the sergeant major comes walking up and everything like that, and he's just cursing up a storm that we're not disciplining light discipline and everything like that, and he's just all sorts of just butthurt that we're just not racked out and everything like that, and he just starts yelling and yelling. And he's like, I was like, man, what the fuck is your problem, man? And he's like, do you know who the fuck I am? I was like, do you know who the fuck I am? He's like, no. And I'm like, good. And I took off.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
He gone.
Well played, sir. Well played.
So, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, base stories, military stories seem to be really good. But
I think
those MPs were bored though. They had nothing better to do.
Oh, of course.
Makes
I
sense.
think soldier stories are just like better.
Ridiculous.
Because y'all have like nothing else to do, especially like in boot camp or out in the desert. You have nothing to do, so you need to have fun somehow.
Yeah.
True. Remind me and then next time you do like an international themed for a podcast, I gotta tell you a story of what happened in Germany.
Not a problem.
Oh,
What about you,
man, that'd be
Todd?
fun.
You got some good memories there of 4th of July?
I mean, I'm an idiot, right? I've been an idiot my whole life. So, I can think back of a time in my my reckless youth when the highlight of our 4th of July was, I mean, cooking out was great and everything, but it was the Roman candle battle. We had a Roman candle battle every year. And
As you would.
right, Roman candle battles. For those of you who don't know what Roman candles are, they just shoot these explosions of light out of the candle, and they're harmless, really. By the time it gets to you, it's not going to set you on fire. So it's not like it's, deadly fire like wartime. But boy, did we consider it wartime. Like we would plan all year long. We had this field out behind a buddy's house that he deliberately didn't cut after, I guess it was like February. He didn't cut it so the grass would be high enough to where we could just see over the grass, just barely see over the grass. So you just see heads just running through the field, and we're shooting at each other with Roman candles. Well, one year, I didn't tell anybody this. I decided I was gonna start with a Roman candle, but after my Roman candle ran out, I was just gonna reload my Roman candle with bottle rockets.
I was gonna say bottle rockets. You gotta do bottle
And just start
rockets.
shooting bottle rockets. So of course, I'm off in like one corner of the field, and we're kind of like running around shooting at each other. And then I stop, and there's like, where's Rogie? Where's he at? And all of a sudden, you hear this whistlers just, and they're going, what is that? What's going on? And I mean, just chaos ensues. Everybody's running around because everybody's got like 10 or 12 Roman candles, right? And as soon as their Roman candle runs out, they're turning around and lighting another Roman candle, because that's the battle and has been the battle for years now. And at that year, everything evolved, and then every year after that, it was bottle rockets. So it was one candle and like 16 packs of bottle rockets. And then we had to stop because we almost set the woods on fire one year. So we kind of grew out of that. And
See, that's my favorite memory is my dad did set a tree on fire with a bottle rocket.
yeah,
And he called the fire department to come put it out, and a fire department gets up there, and they're like, yeah, just chill, we're gonna put this tree out. My dad doesn't chill. He walks to the other lot of the fireworks stand and starts lighting off other stuff while they're putting out one fire.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Oh, I don't mess with bottle rockets, or not bottle rockets, but Roman candles. I used to do it a lot when I was a little kid. I think it was around age when I was 12 years old. We were in our front yard, and all the neighbors are around. And one of the guys, he lights one, and I don't know if he was holding it wrong or what, or if it was just a bad firework, but it blew up in his hand,
Ooh.
and he lost he lost 2 fingers.
Oof.
And so I don't really touch Roman candles.
When I was a kid, I had one blow up in my hand. I don't remember which thumb it was, but it was one of these two thumbs.
Which one's
Um,
shorter?
You only have two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of these two
It's one of these
thumbs.
3 thumbs.
I was I was holding, it was an M80, I guess, or something. And I was holding it, and I told my buddy, I was like, all right, I'm gonna hold it, you light it, and then I'm gonna throw it. And he didn't. He lit it, but he didn't tell me that he lit it, and it blew up like right here.
Oof.
And I couldn't hear
Oof.
I couldn't hear for like 3 days, but I
Oof.
had this huge like blood blister
Yeah.
on my thumb.
Awful.
I think it was this thumb.
So my mom,
No, maybe it was this thumb. I think it was this thumb.
It's one of them. It's one of them.
my mom moved us out to the we call it Hicktown because there's just I grew up in the city like near Seattle and everything, and then she got remarried and she moved us out to this podunk town when I was about 11 or so and like that, and it was right next to the Indian reservations. So every year they have these stands that you could buy fireworks and everything like that, and at the time there wasn't a really big regulations on what they could and couldn't sell, and anything smaller than an M80 was just useless to them, so they would sell these huge, basically half sticks of dynamite and stuff like that.
Right.
And there was one that was in the shape of a tennis ball, and they actually painted it to look like a tennis ball, but it was nothing but gunpowder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Explosive. So it was,
That's a bomb.
and Harley's been out to my mom's place, but when she first moved out there, there was only 3 houses out there. There was nothing out there, and so my brother got this tennis ball and he lit it, and he didn't realize how short the fuse was going to go, and because it had like a 12-inch like long fuse on it. It was just huge fuse, and we're like, oh, that's pretty long. You can get away with that and everything like that. Light it, throw it, and hope for the best type thing. Well, as soon as he lit it, it was just like going down and everything, and he freaked out and he threw it in just this corner lot that wasn't even developed then, or no, they were building a house. They were starting to build a house there and everything, and it took a crater. Like, it literally made a crater in this guy's yard that, I mean, I could lay down flat, and I'm 6'5". I could lay down flat inside of this crater. That's how big of a hole it made. And so the guy ended up, who was building the house and everything like that, he ended up integrating this hole in the side of his yard area. Basically, he just put bricks up and everything, and it just made it all like landscaped. And oh, did I lose internet? Discord is crappy. What the heck is going on with what's going on? Discord went down. I thought it was just me as well. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, Discord is connecting. Let's close this out, see if that does anything. I got loading screens. Oh my gosh, what is going on with this?
Maybe it just doesn't like all the videos.
I don't know.
This Discord might need to be boosted, or we jump to one that is boosted.
I don't. Yeah, or which one's boosted?
I know IG is.
Yeah, but everybody can just hop in on that. That's the problem with IG. That's the only reason why I didn't do that.
There's no like lock. I thought Ty's tidy hole was locked.
Well, it's been infiltrated.
Yeah, it has been infiltrated.
Not everyone has the pub Prism.
Yeah.
Wait, do I?
Actually,
No,
the pub.
I don't have access to the pub.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, we'll just have to deal with this. It's stupid.
Mac can edit those parts out.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, he just redecorated his entire landscape after that explosion.
Yeah.
We redecorated
Insert
a
koi
boat.
pond.
Yeah, basically.
One year, my dad got, I think it was a M1000, and we had an old wooden
What
boat,
the heck
and
is an M1000?
it's bigger than an M80.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Obviously, it's
Like,
I
come
imagine
on.
so.
1000.
I just thought, well, 1,000. Jeez.
So those are the ones you get when you got the really good secret hookups with some of the fireworks stands, and our family friends owned a fireworks stand, so we got the M1000s. And we had an old wooden boat on our property. It was just sitting there. We weren't ever going to use it anymore. The wood was going bad. So one year, my dad just took an M1000, put it in the hull of the boat, and it blew that thing to smithereens. We had, what is my mom's property like? I think it's like 1.5 acres.
it was about acre and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, and these wood pieces are flying across the entire property over our house into the woods. It's
Oh
smithereens.
boy.
You were just putting the woods back in the woods.
Exactly. Just put them
So-
back where
That's
they
right.
belong.
I imagine
right.
the M1000 was equivalent to like a can of Tannerite. You know?
Basically, a M1000 is a half a stick of dynamite.
Oh.
Yeah, it go big boom.
Yeah.
But we live,
Bada boom. Big
I'm
bada
from an
boom.
even smaller town than where Sweets was just talking about, his little podunk town that he was talking about. Mine's even more little podunk.
Yeah.
Mm,
So we didn't have neighbors or houses next to us.
that's fantastic.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
My brother was working at a Fred Meyer's, which is Kroger's for your East Coasters.
You uncivilized people.
And he worked in the deli, and he had really good friends with the baker. And you know how bakery goes in a supermarket and everything like that. They don't sell the cakes; they just throw them away and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
And so he got a couple of cakes, and we got a couple of firecrackers, and shoved them in the cake. We had one. We had one that just dissipated.
That sounds fun.
Like,
oh my gosh, that sounds real fun.
yeah, like if you want to blow
Feel
up
like
a
I missed
cake,
out.
I highly recommend it because the little piece of cardboard that's on the bottom piece of it will actually fly upwards and everything. Even if you put the firecracker or M80 or whatever in the top of the cake, the cardboard will fly up, so it'll make the illusion that the cake is going into orbit, and it's super fun.
Great.
But cake goes everywhere.
Hey, I've
You
always
can't
wanted
get
to
too
blow
mad
up
if
a
it gets on you,
watermelon,
'cause
so
lick it off.
it's like one thing I want to do is blow up a watermelon. That'd be fun.
I've blown up.
I remember we I was out at the hunting property, and just speaking of explosions, I was trying to find the video, because I was going to see if I could share the video, but
Oh my gosh, Discord! Seriously, what the crap is wrong with Discord? You do? All right, we'll move to the pub. Move to the pub.
The pub.
Yeah. Move to the pub. Let me tell them. Hey, we have access to the pub. The pub? The pub? Go to the pub?
I'm in the pub.
I'm in the pub.
Okay, I gotta boost it. Stupid
Try the
thing.
pub. Oh, now we're in wrong positions. Well, no, we'll go back right if Mac turns.
Video. Oh, is it alphabetical?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It won't let me select the pub. Oh, wait, because I'm doing this and this. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this.
Thanks, Prism.
Yeah, thanks, Prism.
Prism does love me. I'm special.
Just for the day.
It's just temporary. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh.
You're just jealous because I wear the Batman shirt better.
I mean, look, just saying. Anyway, hunting stand. It was an old box stand, completely infested with termites and wasps. Every nest you could think of was inhabiting this. Raccoons were living there. I'm pretty sure bears were living there. It was the worst of the worst you could imagine.
So my ex's
And
family. Got it.
right, exactly. I'm pretty sure I saw her there. So we decided, you know what? We're never going to use this stand. And I've got this jar of tannerite. So
Why not?
let's blow this thing up. So we decided, all right, so we set up the front end loader. There's a front end loader back across the field, and we lifted the front end loader up, right? Lifted the bucket up, and then we put all the kids in the bucket. So the wall of the bucket was protecting them, and they could all just kind of peek their heads up over the bucket of the frame. So they're like this, so they can see the explosion. And then my buddy Chris, he was going to take the shot. So we kind of painted a spot on the box where we put the tannerite inside. And because we really wanted it for like, I could have just CGI'd it if I knew how to do the CGI stuff, but we wanted effect. We wanted the whole thing exploded. So we set it inside. We painted a little spot on the outside to give him a point of target. And he had 8 shots. He had 8 shots to be able to hit this target. And it literally on the 8th shot, he was able to hit it. And this thing just, I mean, there were pieces, the biggest pieces of metal, sheet metal, were like this big out in the field. And it took the kids, like, they're probably still picking them up today. You could probably still find sheet metal out in that field
fantastic.
today. But yeah, tannerite, boy, that's no joke. I can't find the video. I was trying to find the video.
Oh,
I was going to share.
I've got tons of explosive videos from being in the military.
Yeah, I mean, you lived through
You
how
kinda-
many? I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of deal with a lot of explosions when you're a mortar man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Well, look, when you're a pizza guy, you don't really, there's not a lot of explosions happening in pizza ovens.
Well, there shouldn't be.
Yeah, there
doesn't
shouldn't.
mean it doesn't
You're right.
happen.
There shouldn't be. Yeah. I have seen quite a few pizzas just balloon up.
That's what happens when you don't poke the dough with a fork.
That's right.
See, Harley
Poke
worked
the
at a
dough.
pizzeria.
That's right. You have to manage the oven. So yeah, I can't find it. But yeah, and that property, the property itself, we call it Rock Hollow, because it's in between. It's like a holler, and it's in between this. It's in a bowl. There's a mountain range called Turkey Mountain. I think it's Turkey Heaven Mountain. Anyway, turkeys just galore, but they come down and they settle in this area. So it's a huge mountain range bowl. I call it mountain. It's not actually mountains.
Yeah.
First of all, it's in Alabama.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
There's
To
no
glorify
mountain.
So it's
hill.
like a grassy knoll of a mountain. But yeah, so it's kind of in a bowl shape. So we
Oh.
got
From Mac, hey, I know you're really good with land nav. It's a depression.
look, here in the South we call it a holler. Because it's where the earth's been hollered out. And so anyway, we long story longer. Turkey Heaven Mountain is the official name of it. But we have spent so much quality family time out there
Mm-hmm.
that it is it'll be the forever home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, you know how we always think of, all right, this is a temporary season in our lives where we're going to be living in Washington, and then the next season we're going to be moving to Texas, and so forth. But that last chapter of life that we've kind of already got planned out in our heads, that's where my last chapter is.
Okay.
Is Rock Hollow. So I'll build a house out there at some point, or a trailer, or a shack, or you can bury me out there. I don't know, but it's around those type of areas where a lot of the good memories rest.
Oh yeah,
You know?
outdoorsy, woodsy stuff is always good memories.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know I put on fishing and everything. I've never really fished. That was never really a part of my decorum growing up, is fishing. It was always hunting and camping and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, that's one of the reasons why when I joined the military, I was like, oh, infantry. I mean, I had every job opportunity. I mean, I got a GT score of 125. My ASVAB was 76. So they're like,
Is that good? 76 out of 100?
Oh,
Because
GT
that's like
score?
that's a D.
That's higher than my GT score, and I work on aircraft.
yeah. So like,
What's
I
a
was,
GT score? You know what? I don't need to know.
General
It's-
techniques. But you know,
In other words, you're smarter than me. Got it.
well, no, it's just that means I test well. I remember information. I can regurgitate what was thrown at me. But
Gotcha.
no, I was offered any job that I wanted in the military, and I just chose infantry because I wanted to shoot things and blow things up. And that's what I wanted to do. And they looked at me kind of funny. And a buddy of mine down in Texas, he's got 100 acres of land, and they have a hog problem down in Texas.
Yeah,
So,
they do.
I mean, they were paying $50 per pair of tusks.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
All right, I'll be there.
Yeah, we were going down to his land every weekend. It seemed like that we weren't doing field problems or anything like that, and just going hunting and everything's. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We took one of our buddies out who had never been hunting before, ever, and you know, just to kill time when hogs were like they're dwelling and stuff like that. We would go out and shoot like squirrels and rabbits and stuff like that.
Anything that was moving.
Yeah, pretty much anything.
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
We don't care. you know.
Varmint season.
Yeah, varmints of all sorts. And we took a buddy out who'd never been hunting before. He'd never experienced it and everything like that. And we had a couple of shotguns, some pistols, and then our rifles, and of course. And he was like, "Oh man, this hunting stuff is pretty chill. Like we're just chilling at this campfire and everything like that." Like, yeah, we're just kind of chilling until it's time to go round up some hogs. He's like, "Oh, so what else do you hunt?" And we told him, squirrels, chipmunks, rabbits, anything that walked by our path. And he's like, "Oh, I've never had rabbit before." I was like, "You want a rabbit?" He's like, "Yeah, I'd love."
You want rabbit?
He's
All
like,
right.
I'd love to taste a rabbit. I've never tasted one before. I was like, "Hold on, be right back." He's like, "You're not gonna just go out and shoot a rabbit?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." He's like,
Yeah.
"No, there's no way that you're gonna get a rabbit in this in the next few hours." I was like, "Okay." So I walked about 30 to 40 meters out, and I looked over, and there was like a herd. I don't know what the placardy of multiple rabbits are, but there was like 4 or 5 of these damn things.
coven.
A coven. Okay, thank you.
Coven.
A coven of rabbits just chilling.
How do you know that?
There's this book called Watership Down.
Okay, that's good.
I've heard of that book. Okay.
So I go out there, and all of a sudden I take one shot with the shotgun. We had bird shot for our shotguns. One shot, got a rabbit, came back, and walking with the ears in my hand. He was like, "Holy shit, how did you do that?" I was like, "No, I just pointed and pulled the trigger, and bam, I got your rabbit." He's like, "No, I didn't think you were going to be able to get one that quick." I was like, "Do you want to try? Here's the shotgun. Go out there to that field about 30 to 40 meters out and go left or right. You'll find him." He's like, "No way." I was like, "Yeah." And sure enough, he walked out there, and you hear like 5 or 6 shots go off and everything. He comes walking back with 4 rabbits. He's like, I just couldn't stop. I shot one and I saw another, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, dude, you shot like 7 times. He's like, yeah, I missed a bit. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
you didn't miss a bit. You missed a lot.
Yeah, that's
I
bird
don't-
shot. That's bird shot.
I've never been hunting, so I just find it difficult to like wrap my head around shooting small creatures with a shotgun.
Yeah, it's birdshot. They're
Oh,
little
s-
itty
well-
bitty
well-
pellets.
Well, let me tell you, small creatures, you'll want to strangle them when you're sitting in a deer blind and you hear the sound of
Oh.
crisp leaves being stepped upon, in which
Oh.
you say, "That's a big buck. I swear it's
Oh,
gonna be the 8-point.
yes.
It's gonna be the
This is the
8-point."
one.
And the light hits it just right enough to see a tiny little squirrel walking around in this little leaves. Let me tell you, I have disdain for little animals in the woods. I will kill them.
I once shot this squirrel that was up in a tree because it would run over our campsite and like throw nuts and stuff at us because apparently we were too close to his home or something like that, and it was just pissing.
Get out! Get
yeah,
out!
It was pissing me off and everything like that. And I saw him, and I just with my with the 9mm, I reached up and I shot him, and I shot him so hard and in the right spot that he actually flipped up on top of the tree and was stuck up there. I was like, oh man, that's good. That's good meat and everything like that. And then I went to go climb, and then all of a sudden I saw this huge beehive, and I'm deathly allergic to bees. So I was like, well, I guess.
Really? I didn't know that.
I was like, well, I guess your grave is up there, squirrel, because I'm not coming up there.
Yeah, you're safe.
Yeah. Well
Think,
played.
We
I
need to
remember
get
be-
you more EpiPens.
Yeah.
I've got.
I
4 of
I
them.
remember being in a
Extra
deer in
fire.
a so I had always hunted ladder stands. I'd
Mhm.
never been in a climber because, well, when you're a big guy, you don't trust those climbers,
No.
right?
No,
You
they're
barely
sketchy,
trust
man.
the ladders, right? I was contemplating renting a boom lift just to be able to get up off the ground one year because I was like 400 pounds. So, but I loved hunting.
Mhm.
But I was at Rock Hollow a couple of years back, and I'm in my climbing stand because I had already lost a good bit of weight. And I remember facing towards what we called the superhighway, which was this massive double wide deer trail that kind of ran across the valley.
Mhm.
I'm like, yo, I'm definitely going to get me one here. And talking about the leaves rustling, I'm sitting in the deer stand, and it's nap time because that's what you do in a deer stand is nap time.
I think that's just what you do in a deer stand.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'd fall asleep.
no,
in
You
the
fall
recline
asleep
no,
in the
before.
deer stand.
Yeah, no, you
You're
absolutely
sitting there
do.
like this, waiting till the light comes out. You're just
Because it's
like,
cold
uh-huh.
and you're like this, and you've just kind of cocooned into like.
Yeah, my
I-
will be
I
perfect.
almost just
My
fell
will be-
asleep.
And every time you
I-
fall
yeah.
asleep, a herd of deer walks by.
Yeah, right. Well, so so I'm sitting in the deer stand like this, and I hear this family of raccoons, literally 3 of them. They just I can hear them coming across the mountain almost, and I'm like, all right, this isn't a deer because they're not delicate. They're literally shoveling leaves as they're going along. They're just rooting up anything they can find, and I can see them coming across, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you guys. I'm bow hunting, so I've only got a handful of bows, so I can't shoot a family of raccoons with 3 arrows. So I'm just kind of just watching, just angry, I'm like, all I wanted was a big 10-pointer to come across. We'd seen him on the cams, we knew he existed, but no, all I've got is Frank and his 2 sisters just coming across the hill. And so I stop and I sit back and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ignore you guys. And then over my left shoulder, so at my 7:30, 8 o'clock, right? I just hear somebody with a push broom just bulldozing leaves across the hill. Like it's It's literally one of those big 48-inch push brooms, and they're just bulldozing leaves across the hill. And I'm like, what is that? Who is this walking up on me? Who's shuffling their feet? And I'm like, one of the kids got out of the stand. This is not fun. I'm gonna have to murder somebody today. And then over my shoulder, I turn over my shoulder, and there he is. It was I mean, he was a moose of a white-tailed deer. We'll put it that way. Just huge. And I'm thinking, all right, how am I gonna get all the way around to take this shot and not fall out of this tree? Because this is literally the first. I just got this climbing deer stand, right? And this is my first bow hunt in my deer stand, and I'm tethered to the tree because, yeah, that tether's going to keep me up there. It's just going to slow the fall. So I'm trying to get all the way around, and he's shoveling this way, right? So by the time I realize it's this giant moose of a whitetail, he's behind me in the tree, and I'm thinking, well, at least all those leaves are out of the way now. Because by the time I was able to turn back around this way to see where he was gone. But yeah, the rustling, the rustling of the leaves, and they sound so loud.
Oh yeah.
Right? But it's literally one leaf, and somebody just took one leaf and just snap it like that. Yeah. I haven't been back in a deer stand since, because later that year. Yeah.
The thing? Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Oh dear.
Last time I was in a deer stand, my buddy he lives out in Glen Rose. It's pretty small little quaint town in the middle of Texas. Real nice area. His houses are pretty spread out, so he's got 15 acres out there. And we decided that we were gonna kind of use his property with his acknowledgement, of course. We'd
His
use his property
consent.
as his consent. Yeah, that we would use it as a means of harvesting said deer meat.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
So he is butted up against a high fence exotic hunting place. So where we park our ladder stand, our deer stand, you could see over the fence to all the cool stuff back there. Man, it was really, really cool. Like you could see the turkey, the big he had axis deer, the little spotted ones, you know what I'm talking about? And then he had some mule deer and some whitetail out there, and it was like a crazy amount of animals as you could see back there. But what it did was
it was like a petting zoo.
it was kind of like it, but you shoot them instead of pet them.
Oh, fish in a barrel. Got it.
Yeah. So the cool part about that though is because there was so many of those animals out there, it almost made the conjoining properties feel safe for the ones that weren't imprisoned, right? So he said he's had a couple trail cams out for months prior to the season, and it just had transitioned from bow season to rifle. And I went out there with the expectation of looking for the big deer, right? So I'm looking for this is, by the way, this is my first time really hunting whitetail. So I'm out there waiting. I started way early in the morning. Got pissed off at a squirrel. Almost wanted to shoot the squirrel. Family of bobcats, wanted to kill the bobcats. You know the whole story, right? And then you wait there all day, just twiddling your thumbs, just getting bored, just waiting there all day, eating a little MRE, just a little snacky snack here and there.
I wonder what MREs taste like.
Yeah, that
Oh,
MREs.
well,
Let's do that. Let's do that on a podcast.
all at once.
Let's do an
that'd be great.
MRE podcast.
But
Put that on the calendar.
Yeah,
put it on there.
I'll write it down. Hold on. Go ahead with your story.
So the sun is starting to go down, and I'm getting pissed because like I've been out here all day. I haven't seen anything, and at this point, I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care if it's doe. At this point, I'll take it. I got a doe tag. I'll take a doe. I'm all right with that, right? And I could see my buddy. He had just come down. He owns a gun shop there in Glen Rose. He had come down off from his house area, and you could see him climbing the Connex in a ghillie suit because he's crazy. And he's got his long rifle, and I get my phone buzzes, and he's like, "Hey, see you over there. How you doing? Anything good?" And I go, "Nope, about to leave." And he goes, "Why? There's two right there." And I go, "What?" And I'm just scanning the field trying to figure out where the heck he's seeing these things, and I see two, and it looks like two doe, coming along the fence line where the little highway is, and I'm like, "Oh, finally!" And I'm like, "I have to take it now. There's no other way I can do this because the sun goes down, I'm done. Right? I'm screwed." So I take my my 700 and I point it out there. And this is the 26-inch heavy barrel Remington 308, and I point it down at this little tiny puny little thing, right? And I take the first shot. I see them kind of run. The one runs, sorry, and the other one kind of like looks up and like, "What was that?" Didn't make any sense. He's like, "But whatever." Continues to eat. I'm like, "Okay, I swear to God, I hit that first one." But you're begging for it. So I went ahead and take the next shot, and you could see him drop like a sack of potatoes. Poof, right? So I wait for a few
Who
seconds.
shoots sacks of potatoes?
Apparently
Yes.
Mac, because he misses the first shot.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, let me get to that before we finish the. So I'm in awe and shocked that we actually got this done. Spent all day working on it. I was really about to get up the deer stand, and I'm glad I got the shot. So for 5 minutes, just let the thing just do its, just make sure it dies without it running away. And I'm like, my heart's beating. I'm in excitement. And as I'm climbing out the deer stand, the rifle slips out of my hand, and I went to go grab it, but by doing that, I let go of the ladder, and
We'll see where
I,
this is going.
I fall like halfway down. Oh, that hurt so bad. So after I collected myself on that, dude, I was embarrassed. My buddy saw the whole thing, by the way. Um, so of course
He'll never
he
live
tells
that- he'll
everybody.
live that
He
down.
tells everybody. Yeah, the next day. And I start heading over there, and I see the one that's laying down. Great, awesome. And I'm like, this is so cool. I got one. And I'm about to go take a look at that, but then at the corner of my eye, I see the other one on the barbed wire fence, stuck on the barbed wire fence. Half his guts are falling out.
Oh,
Apparently, I got him like right clear across the belly,
Oh my
and
gosh.
he just opened up all over the place. So it
Oh
was
jeez.
that was a mess. We had
Yeah.
to figure that out.
So
Yeah,
you
way to
got
go.
2 deer.
I got two, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but
the
you
one
only
the one in the
had one tag.
yeah. Well, I guess the other guy got your kill, huh?
He did actually. So the bad part about it all was we thought we had two doe. We got the doe. The doe on the fence was a doe,
Oh
but
no.
the other one
Was a
wasn't.
button.
It was a button.
Oh no.
And so
What's
we're
a button?
A baby.
a button buck is a baby. A baby.
He basically
Yeah.
has this.
He has little nubbies. Like you could barely see them, but they're little nubbies there.
Bambi.
So it wasn't Bambi. He didn't have spots. But so we're scouring
was
the
at least-
internet.
He was at least 1 year old. He was at least 1 year old.
We are
Mm.
scouring the internet trying to find rules like when can we do I have to put this in the freezer now, wait till tomorrow to turn it in or whatever it is, like am I screwed? Did I just messed up bad. So I'm thinking we're gonna have to bury this thing. There's no way,
It's,
right?
Called Get a Better Scope.
Yes, that wasn't a big thing.
Yeah.
So after hours of searching and searching, he finally finds it. He's like, "We're good. We're good. You can hunt a button buck. Allowed 2 days ago. You can hunt a button buck." I'm like,
Lucked
so
out.
I skated by. I was like, "There's no way." So we're in there now. It's like pitch black night, and we're out across the field, and I'm trying to um, field dress this thing. And by the time we get it all taken care of, you can hear the coyotes coming. They know they smell it all. So we're dragging these boys in. We throw the entrails over there on the side, and we take them in. But the worst part about it all was when I got to the processor that evening, I had my button with me,
Mhm.
and I was so proud because it was one of my first deer, but I was happy it was legit. So I was like, okay,
And
it may have been a button, but what made it worse is when I got there, guy goes, "Ah, that's cute." And then another guy comes in and he's got two massive deer with these huge racks on them, and he pulls them up and they load them in right next to mine, and I could see them all three hanging.
Yeah.
was- It was real embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
It's
why.
it's
That's
like,
why you always make sure you just instead of just field dressing, you just hang it up,
Quarter
cut
them
all the
up.
meat off.
Quarter them
Quite,
up.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You don't.
That was my mistake. I field dressed them and
take them
called
to
it
a
a day.
processor.
It's like
Oh,
trying to
so
show
bad.
off your Ford Pinto next to a Ford Mustang.
Right.
Oh, it was so bad.
You're having
Oh.
a bad comparison.
Well, the
So
guy was
sweet.
struggling to give me like some sort of like pricing on meat because he's like, "Well, I could probably get you, so much sausage out of this." And I was
He's
like,
like, you want me to ask these guys if they'll give you some of their meat? 'Cause there ain't any on your deer.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, skin and bones over here. It's all good.
So
yeah,
when
that
you
was-
take me hunting, babe, I gotta make sure I get a big buck to do better than Mac.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
yeah. You'll definitely do much better than me.
But
That was
basically,
awesome.
I think-
every small deer that walks by, I'll be like, no, wait,
No. Yeah,
wait,
I think the
wait."
rule is you don't take anything less than an 8.2 a processor.
Basically,
Yeah, because somebody's gonna have a bigger deer than you,
yeah. Oh yeah.
no matter what. There's
Well, it was
always a
just
bigger deer
perfect timing that all happened. That went all down. I was like, this was my first real hunting experience, and it was a laughing stock the entire time. Fantastic. I loved it.
Oh, this was
So-
last week, by the way.
Yeah.
No.
I saw a video of like what was it like a 6-year-old shoot a bigger deer than that.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yep.
I've seen
I-
6-year-olds
Well,
go
that's-
like 13 points before it's
Yeah, I love
insane.
I love watching like other people like
Yeah.
bag these nice deer on the outdoor channel, and I'm like, this sucks. My first spawn, remember, I can't even hang the thing on the wall.
My-
Okay, the only reason you didn't get a bigger deer, Mac, was because everybody else had already gotten them. Okay.
Yeah,
You were
I
getting
after
the
that I
bottom of the
I
barrel.
contemplated looking back at the high fenced area and be like, I wonder what it would be like if I just cut a little hole right in this fence.
My first deer was you know how we you get up super early in the morning. I just hit the mic. That was terrible. You get up super early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you get your all your camo on, and you're rubbing dirt and leaves all over you to mask your scent. You're doing all of these things. You wash your clothes in scent-free laundry. Like there's all of you've got deer pee on your
Oh
boots,
yeah, years
your
and years or
I
days
mean,
and days of practice.
there's so much that goes in to an early morning hunt or a day of hunting. Well, my first deer, I was it was my wife and I, and we were with a couple of friends. He had a cabin up in North Georgia mountains, and we had been up drinking late, like 2 a.m.
Best stories right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and so my wife and I, we're sleeping on the air mattress in the like main room in the cabin. It's a little tiny 1-bedroom cabin, and my buddy and his girl are in the bedroom, and so I'm passed out, just gone. Normal nap time for me.
Yeah. No.
So I don't even hear them get up. They get up, they make some coffee, and they're sitting out on the front porch of the cabin. Now it's probably 8:30, and he opens the door back up, and he's like, hey, and I'm like, what is that noise? And I look up, and there he is. He's like, get out here, there's a deer. Now mind you, we walked through the woods for 2 days, didn't see a thing. He's like, get out here, there's a deer. And I'm like, what? He's like, get your gun. So I slide my boots on. I don't tie them. I'm in my boxers, and I got my gun, and I get out on the porch, and sure enough, there's a deer probably 60, 70 yards. And I'm like, now's my chance. So I'm telling you, this deer was huge, biggest deer I'd ever seen. Now I'd seen plenty of deer, but I'd never gotten a chance to shoot it at a huge deer like that, right? So I took the shot, I knock him down, I go back in, I get dressed. So I literally got my first deer wearing boxers. We walk out there, right? And it turns out it wasn't wasn't 60 yards. It was like 30 yards, and it was a button. And I thought to myself, I'm like, all right, so now what? His name was Jeff. Jeff's like, well, we're just gonna have to quarter this one right here, right now, because there ain't no taking this anywhere. We ain't taking this to a processor. We ain't. He's like, did you bring your knife? And I'm like, it's back at the cabin. He goes, wait, you don't carry your knife with you? I'm like, I didn't know I was supposed to carry a knife with me. And
Always.
yeah,
Always
well, I
carry your
love
knife.
down south.
chat. First of all, I learned that they will take your man card away if you don't have your knife on you.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Um,
10-year-old has a knife now.
Look, so now what I do is I have multiple knives with me at all times.
You ain't skinning no deer with those.
Oh, I can. I've actually quartered. I've quartered a knife. I've quartered a deer with this knife right
quartered
here.
a knife.
Jesus.
I've quartered a deer with that. That's the sharpest knife in all of Georgia.
Again, my 10-year-old has a bigger knife.
Well, I obviously have bigger knives, but I'm not gonna have a Bowie knife sitting under my monitor.
Why not?
I have an
Who
AR-15
need-
above my monitor, so.
Well, I have a monitor above my monitor. So yeah, I learned to gut and quarter a deer right there, my very first deer, and it was a button. And everybody should kill their first deer in their underwear from the porch of a cabin.
I will keep that in mind.
Listen,
That-
your
that's
story
not gonna
sounded
be-
a lot simpler than mine. Like
Yeah,
I spent a
that's-
whole day to get my button. Yours was early in the morning. Not fair.
No, I mean it was late morning. I woke up, I slid my boots on, I didn't even put my pants on, and I walked out on the porch, took the shot, didn't miss. I gutted him. Oh, it was terrible. I mean, just it
So
was one of those.
I don't have
what
a
I'm
problem
hearing
gutting.
is regulations
issue.
for me.
Oh, no,
when
no, no, no. I
shoot
don't
my
have a problem
first
gutting.
deer is I have to be in my underwear, but it has to be camo.
Yeah, and you got to
Camo
drink the blood.
underwear, Yeah.
Yeah, or the blaze orange. Yeah, that
Wait,
worked
hang
too.
on.
Yeah.
All right, Sweets, invite me to that hunting trip. If Harley's hunting in her underwear, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, blaze orange and a little hat.
Blaze
Camo
orange
undies.
bikini underwear.
That's gonna end up on YouTube. Let's go hunting, sweetheart.
Let's go.
Hey, all the important parts are covered. It's just like a bikini, right?
Right, pink camo pasties.
Man.
I would not be caught dead in pink camo.
What are you hunting,
Why not?
flamingos? She's not hunting flamingos. That's why.
I freaking hate
Flamingos.
pink camo.
Wait, is that a thing?
Oh man. No, I was out hunting with a buddy, and he's got long range training just like me, and everything like that. And we were hunting for hogs, and everything like that. And 2 deer walk into the area that we were scanning and everything like that. And we're set up.
You said you're hunting hogs?
Yeah, we're hunting. I mostly hunt hogs. They're
Yeah.
good.
You can
fun
hunt them
with
year
that.
round.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
all year
Oh
round.
yeah. Yeah.
And 2 deer walked by, and it wasn't hunting season for deer and everything like that, but we're on private property and everything like that, and we're watching these deer just slowly going and everything like that. And when I'm set up, my weapon is no longer on safe, but my finger is not on the trigger. And my hunting buddy soon realized that after the deer had left the area, and he kind of looked over at me. He's like, I was waiting for you to flick your switch. And I was like, my switch was already flipped. I was waiting for you to flip your switch. And he's like, are you serious? We could have got 2 deer. And I was like, yeah, I was just waiting on you. I wasn't going to shoot first. He's like, yeah, I didn't know how you stood. I was like, man, we're out in the middle of nowhere. It's not deer season, but
There's no warden.
There's no warden. There's nothing around, and we're hungry. I'll kill a deer. I don't
We're
care.
hungry.
We're
I'm gonna
hungry. I'll eat this
more.
deer right here.
Right now. Let's make a fire.
And so we
Let's
get
go.
we get back to the campsite because one of our other buddies and his friend went to another section of the property and everything like that, and they were like so far away, and they were blasting like over and over again. I was like surprised those two deers like walked where we were because we could just hear gunshots. And we come back and I was like, hey, what are you guys shooting at? And he's like, we tried shooting at these deer, but they kept running off and everything. I was like, oh, you mean the two deers that probably walked in front of us? And they're like, yeah, what size were they? And we explained, and he's like, yeah, that was the deer we were shooting at. I'm like, yeah, they walked in front of us. We weren't going to shoot and everything like that because, it's not a season. And he was like, oh, man, we wasted so much ammo trying to shoot these damn things. And I was like, well, if you shoot once, hit once, you don't have to waste ammo. And he's like,
That's right.
he was upset about that.
I'll never forget the very first time I went hunting. Not the first time I went killing. The first time I went hunting. I was with my father-in-law. It wasn't until I was already married and an adult did I experience my first hunting trip or fishing trip. And I remember going with my father-in-law down to the family property down in South Georgia where the deer are a little bit bigger. And my wife's uncle and cousin were down there when they went down with us. So there was like 4 or 5 of us. And I remember climbing up in a ladder tree, and I got my gun. My gun's never been fired. I am just as green as can be, as green as this wall. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to stay awake because, I've heard all the stories. Yeah, you're going to fall asleep. And they put me in the best deer stand to see the most action, which I didn't believe them for a minute. I'm like, I'm not going to see anything because these guys all want to murder deer. They're not going to put me in the best spot. They're going to take the best spot. So I'm up the hill. They're down in the valley near the swamp because that was the best spot. And sure enough, I'm sitting there and I'm drifting, right? Because me in nap time, I can fall asleep standing up. And I'm kind of drifting and I'm starting to drift off. And then I hear, and I'm like, what is this, right? Not till I got back to camp did I realize they were hunting with SKSs. And so as fast as they could pull the trigger, they're shooting at these deer, and they see 3 deer, and they managed to hit every tree in the forest trying to shoot at these deer. I mean, it was World War III down there in the swamp, and I'm like, it woke me up. I was awake for the rest of the day. I couldn't sleep that night. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I was ready for this many gunshots because I'd never been around guns. I was completely green to all of this. And from that moment on, I'm like, all right, if I miss the first shot, it's okay because they missed the first magazine. And both of
oh, come on.
them,
Really?
they're both sitting in and I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, this isn't how I pictured a hunting trip. But every hunting trip after that, it was very similar to Cousin Robert, as I like to call him. He never took one shot. I don't think he ever took one shot until he started paying. He's right until when he got old enough to buy his own ammo. Then he only took one shot. But I haven't hunted with him since, because we had only gone down there a few times. But it was yeah, for my very first experience, I was a bit terrified. I was afraid one of those rounds was going to just find their way back up the hill towards me.
Oh, ricochet, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would love to take you guys hunting, all 3 of you. I mean, Harley especially, since she's really never been hunting.
Yeah.
No. But I would love to take you guys hunting. Yeah. It would be so much fun.
The hunting is something that my dad did with my brothers. It was fishing that he did with me. So I've been fishing.
Oh man. I always tell people that I'm an angler who likes to hunt versus a hunter that likes to fish. Because I probably would choose fishing over hunting.
I've never really been fishing.
Yeah,
Plus,
well,
I get to teach him how to fish. He gets to teach me how to hunt.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Perfect. That works.
I've got. I don't think you know what's beautiful about hunting, Sweets. You know, you're talking about you'd love to. I'd love to go hunting with you guys just for the stories,
Oh, yeah.
just for that
Oh,
quality
yeah.
campfire time is far. Those are the lasting memories.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the memories that I look forward to taking my kids and sitting around the campfire talking about stories more so than the experience. You know, if they want to go hunting, if they want to get their first deer, fine. They would rather hunt via keyboard and mouse, which is fine with me because that just means, you know, more killing for me. But I think it would be phenomenal. I think almost to a point where we need to start planning. Once you get down there, you find some property. We plan an IG hunting trip,
Oh yeah,
a
totally.
yearly hunting trip.
Yeah.
There's some amazing fishing in Texas. I mean, they say everything's bigger in Texas.
Catfish in Texas.
Not everything's
but
bigger in Texas.
no,
I mean, Mac is there, so.
this guy.
That guy.
And Landy is
But-
leaving Texas, so I mean.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But
gotta-
yeah,
I
Lake
gotta-
Grapevine has some good fishing up here, dude. They got some nice bass. I usually go angling up on the pier. Like I got people that have boats and stuff like that, but I find the best places were usually off a pier. That's
Yeah,
where I
I
find
got
them,
a
so.
buddy that's down in Galveston area that shark fishes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
See, I've never deep sea fished.
Yeah, he's a catch and
No.
release kind of guy though. So.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. He also catches.
Sorry, bro. I don't want to catch a shark and release it. Ah.
No, yeah.
But I mean, there's certain fish that'll catch and he'll eat and everything like that. But if it comes to a shark, he'll catch and release them. I've seen some of his videos. It's insane. He fishes right off of his Jeep, right on the beach of Galveston and everything like that. So it's crazy.
And catches sharks. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Catches sharks.
That's actually terrifying if you think about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you lure them
I'm
in with a
obsessed.
giant like a wad of,
4-year-old.
Like, yeah.
You lure them in with
What
a
do they call that thing?
A toddler.
Chum or
obsessed with
something?
sharks.
Kind of like
yeah.
chum. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a wad of like squid and like fish guts.
You get your buddies 4-year-old that's super annoying, and you're like, hey, go get this beach ball.
I'm so glad we don't have a 4-year-old anymore because I would think that he was talking about ours.
No, not at all. She's my absolute favoritist.
#1 fan.
But no, I'm obsessed with sharks, but I don't know how I'd feel about catching them. Like I would love to see one up close, but I would just feel bad.
Yeah, you start thinking about like hook removal. I'm like, I don't want to put my hand anywhere near a
No,
shark's
well,
mouth.
here's the thing. They don't feel that.
I mean, especially hammerheads.
Right. They don't
stupid.
feel that, and neither do you. It doesn't hurt you, right? It doesn't hurt you to put a hook in their lip, and they don't feel it either. It's like cartilage. It's not even
Yeah.
cartilage. So it's not.
I just wouldn't want to
it-
leave it in there.
I don't want them to swallow the hook. That's why it's really important to set that hook early, because you don't want them swallowing the hook, because then you're destroying the fish.
Mm-hmm.
So from a catch and release standpoint, timing is everything on that. Now with
yeah.
deep sea fishing, I would love to go deep sea fishing to be able to pull in
Halibut.
some or
Well, that's
grouper.
northern.
Can you imagine fighting a giant grouper? I think that would be amazing.
I would
biggest
love to
fish-
fish a marlin.
Oh yeah. Oh dude. Like the biggest fish I ever caught was a striped bass. Now, a guy just broke the world record for the largest striped bass, 88 pounds.
Jesus.
Striped bass. That's
Good
freshwater,
Lord.
right?
What?
But the biggest striped bass I caught was like, I don't know, 20 pounds. Oh, what? So I went fishing. Same guy, Jeff. Remember the guy from the cabin where I killed
My
my
name is Jeff.
my
Did you
first.
catch
My
a
name is
fish in your
Jeff.
boxers?
No, I was fully dressed for this one. But we're fishing down south of the dam, right? So when they're letting water out, striped bass will come up the river and feed when they're letting water out. That's the best time to catch striped bass. So we got into the John boat. It was me and Jeff and Tater, and yeah, always go fishing with a guy named Tater.
That
I'm
sounds
just
like a
saying,
given. Yeah.
the stories are amazing. So anyway, we get in the John boat, we kind of go up river, we get into like one of the little creeks, and then we fish for bluegill, right? Because we're going to use the bluegill as bait for the striped bass. So we probably pull in 30 or 40 bluegill or brim, and we've got them in the cooler ready to go catch striped bass. And then we go down river and we kind of shore up right on the side. And the trick is you just throw it, that brim is live. You just throw him out there and you just let him swim down river. And eventually a fish, a striped bass will bite. It's not one of those if, it's when, because this is our sweet spot. So I throw one out. I'm letting him run. We've all got our lines out of the boat. And Tater is about, now let me tell you, Tater, he's probably 105 pounds soaking wet. I mean, he is a little peanut of a guy. And he gets fish on. And I'm watching Tater fight. Now, I had never fought a striped bass yet, right? And I see him fighting, and I'm like, well, I'm like 3 times his size. So I'll be able to reel this guy in, no big deal. So he's fighting and fighting and fighting. 45 minutes he's fighting this fish. As soon as you think he's got it close, it takes off running again. And he's reeling and reeling and reeling. He finally gets it up to the side of the boat. And I'm like, my eyes are huge. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. I can't take it, right? And Jeff looks over the side of the boat and he goes, pulls out his 9, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, is this how we fish for striped bass? And Tater's like, did you get him? And I'm like, oh no, what is this, right? And sure enough, he pulls up this giant gar.
Oh,
And it was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen in my life. Because gar, I mean, that's like the chainsaw of fish, right?
Yeah.
If you've ever caught a gar, there's no happy ending
nope.
to boating a gar, right? It's better to just kill all the gar than. So he literally just 3 rounds, killed the gar. We cut him up right there, threw him right back in. We said, all right, we'll come catch catfish here next week. But I landed a 20-pounder, and I mean, it was fun. But man, I'll never forget that gar. That scared the crap out, because I wasn't expecting him to pull his gun out.
Yeah.
Right?
No one ever expects.
Here's the thing. Right. And here's the thing. I didn't ask him why he had his gun, because we open carried. If we're going hunting or fishing, we're open carrying because we're rednecks, and that's what rednecks do. So I never questioned why he had the gun. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, we're fishing. We're not going to come up on any gators or like mountain lions, bobcats. That was kind of the big deal. That's why you carried a sidearm when you were hunting for bobcats or rabid anything really. But yeah, I can literally hear the gunshots right here in my head right now. That memory, and that was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
My brother recently showed me catfishing down south, where like you just go down to the bank and you find the den and you just like stick your hand in through their mouth.
It's called noodling.
Like,
Yep.
Noodling.
Yeah,
Yep.
noodling. I was like, I want to do that.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I've never
there was
got one, but it was fun. The adventure of doing it, where you don't even know, you're sticking your arm up in a hole and you have no idea what's up in that hole.
You got noodling. You got catfish where you're at in Georgia?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll have to come over and do some noodling with you then.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I'll
So
put you on
the
some good
craziest
spots.
video I've seen on that was there was a guy. He was standing there. He looked like he was just kind of like holding something underwater, so you could see just the top portion of his chest, right, just and up here, and you could see him. He's just like holding something. You could see he's struggling with it. I'm like, all right, so he's got it. You know, I'm thinking he's got it, and then as he starts pulling, all I see is this foot, and I'm like, what? So he's yanking on somebody's foot, and then I see the other foot. And he grabs them both, and he's just pulling on this dude's feet. I'm like, there's a guy upside down under the water,
Yep.
and he's
In the
struggling
hole.
with it. And he's pulling. Finally, he gets him, and the other guy, you could see him flip. And as he's flipping, he's got his arm inside this giant catfish, and he's
Yep.
janking him out. There was
Yep.
apparently this giant hole down there, and so it took
Oh,
two
dang.
guys to get this thing out.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of freshwater fishing experience. I did mostly saltwater, so like salmon.
Well, salmon's freshwater
nuts.
and saltwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying.
I'd love to come fish the Northwest because it's a completely different experience up there than
Oh,
it
yeah.
is down
Oh,
here.
dude, Alaska fishing? Come on, that'd be awesome.
That would be fun. Right, IG fishing
Alright.
trip to the north.
Oh
Mhm.
man, that'd be great. Too
uh,
bad we're not gonna know anybody
halibut.
living up there.
Halibut is my favorite fish.
What are you talking about? We know
To
lots
eat?
Of, well, I know. A halibut is just delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Very
I've had
good.
halibut, but not fresh caught and filleted.
I've
Oh,
had fresh caught
God.
halibut, and oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it is
So
amazing.
good.
That's how
It's what
that's how Harley got me into fish in the first place. Because before I got with her, I didn't like fish all that much.
He wouldn't eat fish
Oh.
at all.
Tilapia
Touch it.
smells.
Smiles.
Took him
Now,
to a
yeah.
place that did halibut fish and chips and had him try it, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, ever since then, we've always got halibut in our freezer.
Heck yeah, that's what's up.
yeah, it's what I would have my dad make for my birthdays. He would cook it on a cedar plank. My mom and I went up to Alaska for a week, and we went out. We were in Homer, Alaska, and we went out on the spit up there, and they had a little restaurant out on the spit. And best, cause obviously best because it's fresh. It was Alaska. It was caught that day, halibut and chips, and it's just my favorite kind of fish. I would.
And I'm hungry. Thanks.
yeah,
I'm looking at fishing the last actual fishing trip that I went on. I'm looking at the pictures as we're talking about this, and
Yeah, next month I'll be
It's
in
bringing-
Galveston,
it's
so
bringing
now I'm
back-
thinking I want to
bringing
go
back
fishing.
memories. Yeah. Oh, is that where
Some of
the
my-
vacay?
Next month, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of
So
my
I'll have a
favorite
week there.
memories in my entire life are from fishing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just anything outdoors, you
I
know.
have I don't know if you guys can see it. There's a fish tattoo right there.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to take my son out. Oh, I'm so excited for hunting and fishing, teaching him the ways of not to shoot a small button buck.
Sweets is
But,
just looking forward to doing all these activities with Phoenix when he gets older. He's
Mhm.
like already planning on buying like a little Power Wheel dirt bike for him when he's like 2, and quads and stuff.
Why can't he get one now?
Because he can't
He
even hold his head up.
He can't even sit. No, he's
I didn't-
actually really
look.
good at holding his head up, but he
Mm.
can't like sit by himself yet.
Look,
He
I'm
falls over.
45 and I can't hold my head up. So
Yeah. If not now, then when? You know.
Any good camping stuff? I haven't really camped a whole lot actually.
ooh,
Oh.
no, look,
Oh,
So
first of all,
yeah.
Military has made me camp, but it's not
My-
really.
My
camping.
Oh.
favorite camping story was growing up. We went hiking and camping a lot, and we never did car camping. So when we saw people car camping, we're like, why would they want to do that? But so we were always hiking up in the mountain. We hiked all over the Olympic Mountains. My favorite memory is it was just me, my mom, and my dad, and we decided to try something new this time. So instead of taking a tent, we just took a tarp. We'll just tie a rope from tree to tree and put a tarp, and we'll just tarp camp. It's something new. We'd love to try it. And so we got up there to our one of my favorite places to go is Silver Lakes, and we got up there, and it just started downpouring, and we didn't bring a tent. All we had was this tarp. For 14 hours straight, it was downpouring. We were in that little tarp, and my dad was not a little guy. He was a big guy. It was him, my mom, and me all crammed in that little tarp that we were only going to use for sleeping, but now we were eating in there, sitting in there the entire time, playing
Yeah.
cards, playing cribbage. And there was a break in the rain for like 5 minutes, enough time for us to go down, get some water, and come back. And just the rest of that weekend was just pouring down rain the entire time we were up there.
That's awesome.
But other than that, it's a beautiful place to go. I mean, you can hike up to the ridge and you can see Seattle. It's beautiful when it's sunny. It's only
Our
like a 3 mile hike too.
our plans for Rock Hollow are to dam up part of the holler to where we can actually. My buddy calls it. He wants a duck pond, but I'm like, well, let's dam it up enough to where we can get it stocked and have a nice little fishing pond that we know the kids will enjoy being able to fish out of. So,
Yeah.
You can duck hunt out of it too. If you get
oh
ducks.
yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of. We don't get a lot of duck activity out of there. We're definitely going to do some duck hunting out there in Texas when y'all
I
get down
can't
there.
hit moving targets. So like
You better
bird
off going
hunting
to
is out for me.
Texarkana.
You can't
Yeah.
even
Arkansas.
hit still targets. What are you talking about?
Arkansas is where you go for duck hunting. That is duck hunting haven.
All right, we'll set it up, Mac.
Yeah, set it up, Mac.
All right.
You're already down there.
It's
You're
all on
already
you.
established. We're moving down in 28 days. Is that what I'm at?
28 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20
I gotta
sorry,
talk to
20
I got a buddy
26
who's like an
days.
avid duck hunter. I'll have to scour his brain, find out some spots. But yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, my one of the best things I ever learned from my mom was that you can carry everything you need to survive on your back.
Oh, let me tell a story about this.
I
I'm
mean,
glad you said that.
The military
I'm so
taught
glad
me
you said that.
that.
So a stint in my life goes well, I think it was like 2 years of my life with me and my buddies from work. We went days on days out talking about survivalist training and all these things that what would you do, like what if you could all do, like camp primitive, like could you survive, having your little kits, trying to make shift stuff, catch and carry, forage, all those things. And so finally one day we all found, I guess, well, we all found, one of the guys found a primitive campsite that we can get to, and he says, all right, here it is, 3 days, 2 nights, primitive camping, only things you carry on your back, and we're gonna do survivalist style like training, right? And like, oh, this is gonna be good. Well, obviously, Mac stocks booze because that's what Mac does, and so we go out there and I make a fishing pole, and I set it up. Basically, I use a bamboo stick and some 550 cord. I took the white string out of the 550 cord, and made a hook out of a safety pin, and I was actually able to catch something off of that. Little bitty guy, right? But I caught something off of it. I was pretty happy about that. It was like survivalist training. I can win. We're good. So as the evening progresses, it went from fishing on the shore to one of the guys actually going into the lake, into the water, and just trying to swim around and see if he could feel for fish, because he swore up and down. He's like, I could feel them brushing up against me. This is probably like 2 or 3 hours into a big drinking fest, just so you know. So it turned into that. But the best part about it was, like, I think it was like what was it? It was a little later in that evening. We were all by the campfire. I was trying to cook my little fish. One of the guys, he had brought in an MRE. He was eating that. I was just looking at my fish while I was cooking them on the fire.
Mac likes to bring up MREs.
I keep doing this. Yeah, you're right. And
It's like to send them.
we're all getting pretty much sloshed. All of a sudden, we hear this clunking going on in the water. We're just like, what is that? And we're looking around. We're like, get our little flashlights. We're like, okay, we're missing somebody. They're like, okay, what's going on? So we all just kind of like get up, and as people are scouting around, they're like turning their flashlights, and then you can just see them. 3 lights just merge into one, spotlighting our friend who is plastered. Somehow he finds a ducky float just sitting there somewhere on the shore, and you could see his boots on the land along with his jeans. He's wearing nothing but the ducky float out in the water. He's trying to get back to the shoreline because he said he went off and fell in the water, found the ducky thing, and ended up using the bathroom across the way. And he was trying to get back to us, and he kept tripping into the water and falling in. He didn't have a light, no nothing. He's just falling through. Hilarious. By the way, a side note to that: we woke up in the morning. He was asleep next to a cactus. So that was a fun day. But yeah, that was a cool thing. The next day we went out. We actually went on a little hike, and I was carry, which that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
So we're on our little hike, and we turn a corner, and we find, I guess it's like a mom vulture with her little baby vultures. This
Oh,
big nest just sitting there, right? And we walk up on it. So this thing just whoosh, just spreads its wings, like, and just assumes a very aggressive stance. And the first thing I goes, "You want me to shoot it?" And then everybody just started busting out laughing. Oh, it was the most hilarious thing in the world. But yeah, basically turned into from survivalist camp to drunken escapades. That's what it turned into.
Oh,
The
no.
challenges became worse and worse through the entire evening or through the entire weekend. But I gotta say that was probably one of the funnest camps I've been on, with basically bringing in just what you had on your back, and you had to walk a mile into the camp. So that was great.
Say hi, baby.
I've never been in shape to be able to endure longer stints in the woods than like 5, 6, 8 hours. So I don't really
Let's go
have
for a
any.
weekend.
Yeah, I don't
Let's
really
go
have
for a
any
weekend.
camping stories.
Really?
There's chunkers. Chat, we're joined by probably the coolest kid ever to don
Ever to escape
suspenders.
from my loins.
Was it suspenders that he
It
had
was
on?
suspenders yesterday. Yeah.
Yes. Look at this guy.
Me,
He's
me
a
and,
chunkers.
me and Harley went camping.
It was. Yeah.
And that
Well, I mean-
boy right there is the result.
No, no. Well, we had quads and stuff that we were taking out to the sand dunes in Oregon, the sand dunes of Oregon, everything like that, and that was fun. I mean, we got to take the kids out on the quad and show them what it is, and
Had
But-
sex. It was intense.
Whoa, easy. Now, I've been glamping. Does that count?
Oh,
No, that does not
glamping.
count.
That counts as camping, right?
No, no. Car camping does not count as camping. I'm sorry.
I've been
The glamping
glamping.
with the fancy tents and everything. Yeah.
No,
So
like I said, I grew up my entire life camping and didn't do car camping. We did hiking. Everything we needed was on our backs.
yeah, one time I was with, I don't know what it is with camping and drinking, but it happens a lot, right?
I don't mean to interrupt, but Gail says no, Ty.
What?
Glamping.
Not
does
even
not count.
close.
Glamping totally count. Wait, Gail doesn't even. Whatever.
Did you sleep on the ground?
Gail's the vehicle I was in was on the ground.
Oh,
All
I
right,
love
go,
it.
Go ahead, Mac.
All right. So the beauty of it all, there's usually always a theme to pretty much every camp, right? You always have the nightly routine of battling raccoons,
Mm-hmm.
the random snake, the
Oh.
walking into the giant spiders, the freshly woven spiders web,
All right.
right? And hearing your friend, who is the biggest, toughest dude you know, scream like a little girl, because he has a spider on his face. It's great. It's fantastic stuff. By the way, Glen Rose Park is a dinosaur themed park. You could find dinosaur tracks, all that stuff like that. Well, they have a giant brontosaurus. Let me just say, we're not allowed to go to that park anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah, we ended up climbing that thing a couple times. And then also the torrential downpour happens quite often, Harley. So I know how it feels. We were in the middle of the night battling raccoons and ended up going to sleep, and we just hear this. You could hear thunder clapping, and you're like, okay, that doesn't sound good. And by the time I looked at my phone to check the weather, we were screwed. We had to leave the campsite because the wind and the rain were just destroying everything, and we ended up at Whataburger. That was fun.
Yeah,
Good times.
Whataburger.
Whataburger, yeah. great times.
Whataburger.
But we stayed at Whataburger for like 4
Harley's
hours.
never
Came back,
experienced the Whataburger.
dude. We came back. All our stuff was in the river, like down below us, or up in a tree. It was a mess. Everything was staked down too. That was the worst part of it all. It was a mess. So we had to clean that up. Oh my gosh.
I guess if you sleep there, is it considered camping?
Are you sleeping in
I
a
s-
vehicle?
No. I slept in the parking lot of a Burger King once
No,
I was-
that's not camping.
because I was drunk in Panama City. But you could consider it camping, right?
No.
Oh, dude, camping is so much fun. There's
I
like
had my
so many
head
cool
on the
stories.
concrete, on that little concrete parking bumper
we
thing.
gotta take Ty camping.
I
Oof.
love.
Oh, yeah.
I love camping.
Can I bring my own purple mattress?
Yeah,
So
mean,
I got
if
a
you
I got a
bring
tent.
blow-up
I got a tent
mattress,
that'll like
it's still considered
that'll
camping.
fold up into this small little ball like this, and it's a single man tent. So it's one of the coolest tents I've ever owned in my entire life.
I had
This thing like, oh,
when
so-
I was getting out of the army, our unit was switching locations from the base from
Yeah.
one building to another, which is on the other side of the base.
Mhm.
And they were going through the supply depot, and they're like, "Hey, we have a whole bunch of extra stuff that isn't on the books." And I was like, "What's what?" And they gave me a it's considered a one-man tent. We could sleep 3 people in that thing easily, and it was all
Nice.
camo ACU because I was before they changed the pattern and everything
Yep.
like that. So I had this basically 3-man tent, single person tent that I took hunting with me a couple of times. And when I moved up here to Washington, my ex purposely broke some of the stakes and tent poles to it and everything like that, so it's gone. And but
Aw.
yeah, the military, if you know the right person, you can definitely get the right type of material to go camping with.
my brother was a quartermaster.
Yeah.
I like quarter pounders.
Alright, baby, I'm gonna have to get off because I have to get the kids ready.
That's not even close to being true.
Ready for what?
You still have to go into the bittersweets segments.
Oh,
We still
Oh,
have a
there's
bittersweet
that.
sweet segment. So,
Okay.
I mean, we've been going for an hour and a half. We can go into the bittersweet. So the bittersweet segment is, of the topics that we talked about, is something bitter, obviously, that we didn't like. It left a bad taste in our mouth. And then something sweet that left a everlasting memory that you enjoyed. So of any of the topics that we talked about, the holiday of the 4th of July, hiking, camping, or fishing, or any of that stuff, my co-host...
Can we say the technical difficulties?
I will say one for sure. And it's tough because it's both bitter and sweet, right?
Mhm.
The year before I wed my wife, my dad passed away on the 4th of July.
Okay.
Mm.
He was hospice, and he had esophageal cancer, and he was going downhill, and he waited. Like you could see in the way he was holding himself that he was struggling to fight, but he kept fighting, and we were trying to figure out why he was doing that. I mean, it didn't take very long to figure out that my dad is a dad. You know, he's one of those guys that he just can't go. He just can't go out like a normal person. Of course, he knew 4th of July was there, and he wanted to go out with a bang. So that was his thing, right? He wanted to do it. And so, fond memories of my dad on the 4th of July. We talk about how he passed, but we also talk about how much he loved the 4th of July. He loved fireworks. He loved celebrating with us. He loved freedom, and he wouldn't have had it any other way. So every 4th of July, I make an effort to go see him and share a story, share a beer, man. It's good times. It really is good times.
Yeah.
But
So that fell under both categories of bitter and sweet. How about you, Ty?
I think you have we have a duty to ourselves, to our family, to our friends, that we have to make a content
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. What
in
did you
life.
say?
I'm sorry. It was dramatic pause. you have to make a I don't know. I got a lot going through my head right this second.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of distractions. I'm an outgoing guy. I'm a pretty chill, happy guy. I don't get salty. I don't get bitter, as we call things. I try not to hold on to any bad feelings. Because life's too short. You know, Mac talking about his dad. Life's too short for us to dwell on crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I guess if I have to have a bitterness to it, this is going to be a cliche bitterness, but I kind of wish we did this a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we've been doing this. I hate that all of these conversations that we've had over the last 2 years, you and I, with a collection of other people, just in Discord, in voice, not with cameras on or in lights and all of that stuff. Just, I hate that we haven't recorded the memories of our conversations over the last 2 years to be able to share these stories with others.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's I just feel like we had a missed opportunity, and I'm glad we've taken advantage of the opportunity now to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess my only other, I'm good. I'm done talking.
What about the sweetness part of it, though?
Getting to share stories that I haven't even thought about in 20 years. Getting to share stories not only with you guys, but with everybody who's watching and listening, that may never have had the opportunity to hear that story. And if these stories can have an impact on someone in a positive nature, then the stories had to be told. If telling a story about shooting a gar, right, brought a chuckle to someone that needed that laugh at that moment, then this is perfect. This is exactly what we needed.
Okay.
Because you never know who's going to be listening and who's going to be watching, who needed that chuckle, who needed to know that there are other people going through real life and going through the struggles of losing a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never knew my dad, so my grandfather was my hero. So when I think of 4th of July, I think about my grandfather, who was a veteran, he was my Superman, right? But it brings back good memories. They're not bitter memories. It's all sweet memories.
Well, they're sweet, but it's sad because you won't be able to make more memories.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest tough parts of that. I just really wished,
Yeah, more memories is great, but I'm never going to replace those memories.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
it's not like we're trying to outdo one another. Oh yeah, well, my memories are better than your memories.
No, you gotta take those, man. You gotta cherish those memories. That's the thing.
Just like I've got this shelving,
but enjoy it, right?
Right, exactly. Just like I've got this shelving with maple syrup. Right? Why do I have maple syrup down here in my office? Because it's a memory. Because it's something to remind me of Cheechery. Right?
Yeah.
And that time that Swags donated money to him, and he's like, that's not even enough to buy a good bottle of maple syrup. That's a memory that was hilarious, but only a handful of people were there.
Yeah.
Right? But that's why we have memories. That's why we have shelves. That's why we have That's why we should be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
I just hate that it wasn't done sooner.
How about you, Harley?
Me, bittersweet stuff. Well, I mean, this entire podcast topics was kind of like that because, like, holiday 4th of July, it was my dad's favorite holiday. He got married on that holiday.
Mm.
Spent every year as a family down on at our friend's fireworks stand and hunting. Well, I never did hunting, but fishing and camping with my dad. That was the thing that my dad and I did together, was the fishing and camping as a family. And after he died, it all kind of fell apart. We never did it anymore as a family. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's sweet that we have all those memories, but it's sad that after he died, it just stopped.
Yeah.
Because, like, I could have kept fishing, but I just couldn't bring myself to go out and do it without him.
Yeah, that's hard. You know, I get it. I get it. That makes sense.
So, but it's like all the memories I will cherish forever.
I think
Oh, yeah.
memories and traditions like that. We want sometimes for our kids to be able to experience those traditions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to relive those memories. But I also think it's our duty as parents, and we're all parents here. Our duty as parents is to cherish every moment, because that could be one of those lasting memories for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And you don't want to devalue that.
Yeah.
At all. This has been great. I love this.
So
yeah, this is a fantastic thing.
So to finish this up, this is my bittersweet. So a lot of people know. I mean, it's even my name that I'm Sergeant Sweets. I'm military. I'm retired military. And
What?
The 4th of July, hiking, hunting, fishing, all that one up stuff, and being very patriotic, especially around this time of the year. It brings up a lot of good memories. It brings up a lot of bad memories of the times that I were deployed, the times that I had to go out into the field, the times that I spent with family at the time, and everything like that. So it just brings a whole bunch of that whole memory surge, especially since 4th of July is the declaration of the independence of the United States, a country that which I served proudly, and I still cherish the flag, the understanding of the Constitution, and everything like that. So 4th of July is a very big holiday for me because of that, because of my military background and everything like that. So all these memories that do outside of the 4th of July, like hunting, camping, and fishing with family and friends and stuff like that, I will cherish to the day that I die. That I try to bring them up every time. That's why I wanted to do this podcast, is so I can share some of my life experiences and everything like that with fellow people that, you know, have gained interest in things that I do. Like with Ty, I mean, he met me through GeoGuessr 2.5 years ago, and through that time, he's become my best friend. And being able to share some past memories in life with him shows that I'm willing to open up my guard to let my best friend know who I am as a person. And that's a big thing about the 4th of July, is that we let up our guard to establish this country. We had to fight like hell to become a nation that we are today, which I still believe is the greatest nation in the world because of our freedoms that we have, our laws that we have to follow, our diversity in cultures, everything. It is the greatest nation. You cannot fight me on this. You have your opinion, I have mine. That is
Yours is wrong.
Well, I mean, you're entitled to, like Harley
your
tells
opinion's
me,
right.
My favorite saying.
It's like Harley
You're
says,
entitled to your wrong opinion.
Exactly.
That's right.
And so I mean, I love this country. I literally signed a contract to lay down my life for this country, and I'll do it all over again if need be. But so that's my sweet part of it. My bitter part is I don't feel that I have done enough to provide for everybody around me. I feel like I need to offer more support to my family and my friends, which I cannot do in my current state, which makes it bitter for me. Like, if I could do anything that I can to make Ty's life a little better, I try like hell to do. Harley yells at me all the time when I start donating and stuff like that. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, we need that money. And I'm like, no. We can always make more. Ty needs it right now. Or if I do it with Mac, if I donate like 5 gifted subs, she's like, "What are you doing? We have to pay this bill still." And I'm like, well, I can always make more money, but Mac might be in a situation where he could use that. And that's how I am. And my bitterness is I don't feel like I do enough to help other people. And that's just a personal level of it that I have to fight myself, and missing out on certain aspects of other people's lives that mean a lot to me is just, it's hurtful to my emotions that I can't help out more. And doing this podcast makes it feel like I can connect with people and hopefully gain more friendships with each person that comes on this podcast.
Well, I'll tell you what,
don't
you're wrong.
yell at
You
him.
are an amazing person and you do a lot. So, I know you don't feel like you do enough, but I know you do. I can see it every time I see you in someone's chat, or when I see you in the Discord. You're willing to always lend a hand, and it's amazing. So,
Yeah,
GG's, dude.
he'll never see like he does enough.
GG's.
Okay, so we have gone an hour and 41 minutes according to this part of the stream, which
After the technical difficulties.
we had some technical difficulties, and we still have technical difficulties. I've noticed that we've been dropping frames every once in a while. Chat, just to let you know, let me read this off real quick. Thank you for the resubs, the biddies, the hosts. You guys are amazing. I'm sorry that I haven't really been calling it out on stream, but it is for the podcast. It will be on YouTube as well under Sergeant Sweets at YouTube. I'm trying to get the audio Utah. Yeah, I'm trying to get the audio set up to where we can also, so you can download it and listen to it at work or in the car or wherever you're going to be. We are going to be doing this every week. We will have other guests on. Me and Ty are going to be co-hosting this show together. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, even though we had some technical difficulties. And it is the 4th of July. I hope you guys are celebrating if you are Americans. If you're English in the UK, thank you for letting us rebel against you. And for all the other nations in the world, we also support your independence as well. We hope your nation thrives. We're not trying to be bullies or anything like that. We hope to see you guys around even more. Any clothing thoughts from either of my guests or my co-stars?
I feel like this can definitely go longer than 2 hours.
I you know me, I'm long-winded. I could talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. I think 2 hours is a good window of time. I think the podcast, the audio version, could be trimmed down a little bit more from a streaming standpoint, though. I absolutely love the fact that we have people who can engage and interact with the podcast. So I think this is absolutely a stream-worthy thing. So I am absolutely excited to want to make this a weekly thing, or however often we're going to do it. And I want people to know that we're here for each other and for you guys. Chat, I'm talking to you. And for anyone who, if there was something that touched you in this podcast, let us know. We want to know how we can make this better. We want to know that this had an impact on you. And so DM me, DM Sweets, you can DM any of us. We'd love to hear the feedback. I think feedback is key to help us make this better. To if you have subjects that you want to address that you're like, oh, I'd really like to get Sweets and Ty's take on this particular subject. We're gonna try not to do too much political. We want to make it fun. Nothing about politics is fun. But definitely give us that feedback because we value it. We want this to continue to grow. So thank you guys. My wife's calling me. She's like, "Where are you?"
I can't find my my link to my channel to post on
The Discord.
Like YouTube.pe or some weird.
The Discord.
No, to his YouTube.
to my YouTube.
There. Now you can see his face, Mikey.
So I will figure it out once I get it posted and I have an actual link to the video of this podcast. I will post it into the IG Discord as well.
Where is he?
The big thing about it is IG members. You will be asked later on if you want to join the podcast. So if you do have something that you want to talk about and you are an IG member, we will invite you in and everything like that. So like Ty said, go ahead and DM myself, Ty, Mac, Harley, anybody in the IG Discord, and they will get your message across, and we will try to get. I think next week we have Landy or Prism. I'm not exactly sure who, but we have a couple other people. Harley just filled in because Prism had to back out for family reasons. We also have Tech that's coming around. But we have a whole list of things. We will be doing this podcast for a while. We will also be posting it on YouTube, like I said. Mac, how did your experience of the first podcast go?
Well, like Ty was saying, it's a lot of memories being brought back that you never would have shared. It's been a long time since I shared a lot of that stories. Specifically, I don't think anybody knew about my dad. So that was it was good to talk about. It's one of those things.
Yep.
To
Yep.
share
And it's a
those things
great
with people.
group to bring to talk about that kind of stuff because this group is very supportive and just there for you, kind of thing.
Yep.
For sure. But yeah, man, GG's, good job. I love it.
Is anybody live out of the IG right now? Is the question.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Sweets is.
We have Evil Space Bunny and TV Velocity.
My vote's Bunny, but
so
that's
will.
my vote.
Yeah, we'll go to Evil Bunny.
She's kind of the one that has really kind of motivated me to really want to make this podcast a thing, because she's been doing a podcast and for several months now, I think since October. So
I forgot to load up the other thing, so I can't do shout outs.
Let's go over there to Bunny.
Yeah, we'll go over to Bunny. Again, everybody. We have 12 people. We'll raid. Why not? Haven't done a raid in a while. So again, next week it'll be a different time frame, so we can make sure that everybody's schedule lines up. This was kind of a last minute. Well, not really last minute, but planning kind of got screwed up because of
the holiday.
So,
but hey, it was a great day to start our independence. It's a great day to start our podcast.
That's right. That's a good start.
So we will go over and we're going to be rating. Oops, if I could spell. Holy cow. What is it? R-E-D. Evil Space. Oh, am I spelling it wrong? How am I spelling it wrong? Okay, so I got the raid going. Hopefully everybody enjoys it. She also does a podcast as well. She has a command in her chat. All you have to do is type ! Podcast, and all the information is. She is currently playing
7 Days to Die.
7 Days to Die.
The new Alpha 19.
The
Yep.
new update. So we will be back next week with a new podcast. Maybe have some new members with us and everything like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I will have the link posted in the IG Discord to the YouTube channel if you missed anything because of the internet problems that occurred this podcast.
Naomi's singing the Fox song right now. Alright, I'm gonna go get everybody ready to go.
Okay, well, you do that while I talk with these guys.
Hey.